Hello. I finished my collar with the stitches, which is one slip stitch now done here in the between facing and collar. So I stitched that by hand, and also I done all the attachment of the collar here. And this is the my favorite part when actually I have to take all my tucking out from from the collar. Just keep it in the end and take the tucking out in the lapel. It looks really nice when it's suddenly it just feels like something something really made nicely. So the one thing is still need to do in the collar is when we're attaching that is some parts about maybe 2 centimeters is still not attached yet, because the way we snipped your seam out and part of your facing is went inside the collar, and also that part of the collar is still not being stitched, so it's just tucked. So I kept that tucking so you can see what I'm talking about. So that part things we need to now finish. I'm going to use red thread so you can see exactly what I'm doing. So that part here is going to be slip stitching. So you are going to, and then you slip stitch. You know the stitching, you know how to do it, so you just slip stitching into the facing, so nicely neat to that. And then when you come to the end, so just get a couple of stitches again. Make sure mine is red, but yours won't have to be top the color of your top fabric, so it's invisible. Now when it comes to that point here, so I need to go to secure properly. I need to go through all the layers, and what we're going to use is a step stitching, like similar like we used in the in other places like pocket flap and so on. So go through all the layers, go through that where the neckline is. Yeah. So my neckline here. So my needle is here. So go through all the layers. Like that, then go back, then go through all the layers here again, then step back, and go through all the layers again. So it's all that step stitching, so it's quite strong stitching need to be. Single thread is fine. I find in a single thread it's absolutely fine to use it. If you're using the your black thread or needle, which is appropriate to your top collar, your stitching doesn't have to be too small. So you can be bigger as long it's strong enough to stay together. So can you see that? So I've got some stitching, so they're not tiny, but don't do it too big either. So make sure it's obviously it's be as invisible as possible, but go through all the layers. Yeah. So when you're going to be, as I said, going to be in your different color, it will be less visible, and so on. So you just go through, and that will be quite strong to do that. Yeah. So as you see, that you've got the stitches there, Okay, so that's I'm going to finish it now. I'm going to change it in different color. See, it's nice and lovely. So when you've done that, so you attach here, you attach along here, and then here it's exactly the same. You just continue, because it's not, I know it's not attached to anything, but I think it's quite important that you continue to do that. Oh, by the way, just wanted to tell you, when you do the collar, that part of the collar, if you want to keep the tucking on the, let's see, if you want to keep it, I take it off because I like seeing nice and clean area. But if you want to keep your tucking, just to remind you how you've done it, you can keep it, absolutely. But make sure you take all your tucking out from this side when you finish. Now, the last part for the collar would be finishing those ends. Yeah, so that end need to be finished. We've still got a hole in there. So, and we've got those seam allowances still sticking out. So we need to, the next part would be, so it's quite important you do that. You fold it over really nicely, really tight, so it doesn't go anywhere. And also make sure it doesn't fold, you see that, so it doesn't show anything from this side. So your seam allowance here doesn't come across, so we don't see it. So that side, you don't see your seam allowance. You don't see a seam allowance at all. So we're doing that. That's quite a traditional way for tailoring, traditional way to do that. So that way is just a nice and very straight corner to have. So that's what it's about, just to have that straight. So I'm going to slightly trim, so to give more the right angle here, so more straight, so it's not an angle. Put your safety pin, or you can tuck that area. So as long it's very nice and tight here, so it doesn't really get too loose. So we have a nice, beautiful corner here. Then we're going to secure that. So I'm going to use again red thread, so you can see what I'm doing. You using top thread, which is your color of your top fabric, single thread, and we're going to, you need to do is tiny herringbone stitch or cross stitch, and they are just need to be like embroidered. So they're really, oh, done it. I don't know, I've done it too far. Just going to change it. So you need to be really beautifully done. So you take your time. So just put my inside, and take your time doing it. Then so they are very close to each other, and they're quite small as well. So, and in some way they're just securing the edge as well, but also looks quite beautiful finish. So this need to be very consistent in there. So in a way that it's, as I said, it's like it's embroidered. Really nice. Do some little practice. Spend time, because that is visible. So obviously people can turn the color and they can see how your stitching's been done. So it's very important that you do them as beautiful as you can, consistent as you can. Like that. Okay. So, and then okay, so you've done that. I would advise you to give a good press first, and then you can, some people leave it that open here, and so they just press it and that's it, they leave it open. I like to be slip stitched inside, because then that way it also looks much neater and stronger. so nothing can be caught, and then I just slip stitch that part. I'm going to slip stitch that part here to make it very, very flat and invisible. As you see, even with my red thread, I'm trying to make as beautiful as possible. So, and as invisible as possible with my slip stitching. So you also have to be quite strong so it doesn't fall apart. But sometimes you can do slip stitching, but it can be so delicate and it just would not sustain. Okay, so you finish it here, you finish it there, slip stitching, so all have to be slip stitched. And so I'm going to do that in top fabric, so I'll come back and do it in top fabric. And the next part would be is to give a press. But before we give a press, I'm going to demonstrate how to do it. And also, see, that's actually really nice, isn't it? Before we do, I've got press, and then I will show you how to do press. We're going to take some part of the tucking out, because I don't want to leave any of those marks on actual lapel or collar, because it's so difficult to take it off. Okay, so yeah, do it on the both sides, do that side as well. So you fold it over and you are trim it, make it straight, and do your beautiful herringbone stitch on another end of the collar, so it's nicely, beautifully finished completely. Yeah, so that looks, see, it's really nice. Okay, so I hope yours one will look the same, you know, straight stitching. See, that's what you see in the camera. Imagine that's for the film, and that you will see in the camera, straight, nice, beautifully finished stitching. When you fold it like that, is you're not going to see canvas in the between. So it's very important you pull it like that and see, can you see canvas? Can you see holes in it? If not, then, and if it's straight, then the job well done. Okay, thank you. I'll see you next time.